Hi, this is Sue here from Tutor Your Child. I just wanted to give you a little bit more information today on how to help children who are in the early stages of learning to read. So lots of parents have asked me questions about how to get their child engaged in reading and how to help their child. The most important thing is, especially during these lockdown months, is that even if the child doesn't complete all of the geography or the history on the Google Learning, that they continue to read at home so that they can learn that skill. I would say, and I know the research says, that a minimum of 10 minutes a day to get your child to read to you. It's still important that you read to your child so they're getting a wider vocabulary, they're getting more language, they're getting more involvement in stories, but it's really important that they also read to you and they practice sounding out those words. So in reception year 1 and year 2, children will learn a lot of phonics. They are the sound bites in words, and they will be able to put them together to spell words in writing and also in reading. So this will be their main focus when they are reading a story. It will be the main strategy that they are using. There is also a list of words, and the government have broken them on the national curriculum down into year 1, year 2, year 3 and 4 and year 5 and 6. And these are common tricky words, so the words that appear the most in the English language but that break the rules, that children just have to learn by sight. They are obviously the most common words, so they will be appearing a lot in what they are reading. So the more and more they see the word, the more and more they will remember that word when they're reading. And I will post a copy of those common tricky words, particularly for year 1 and 2, onto my Instagram so that you can see those. You can have a look at them, make little cards around the house, use flashcards, maybe take 1 or 2 words a day, see if the children can remember how to read them. The idea is that at the end of the year that the words are designed to be learnt, that the children will be able to spell them as well. But obviously reading comes first and then the spelling comes second. So let's have a look at how a child might read a book. So this is a book I've just picked up. It's a stage 2 book, so this would be a sort of reception level book, maybe some children in year 1. So this, the issa, is made up of 3 phonemes. The is 2 letters, 2 graphemes, but we say it's 1 phoneme, so it's 1 bite of sound. So this would have 3 buttons. The is, the child would sound it out, the is, and put it together. You can always use a train, the is, this. Try and put the letters together, but using those phonemes. And then they would continue to sound out the words. When we get to a longer word, like rabbit, I would get the child with their finger, and I think it's important it's their finger because then they own their own strategy, to cover up the end of the word and to do the first part of the word first. So r-ab, rab. Let's blend that first and then we'll add on the end. Now 2 letters, 1 sound, so we don't actually need to say the second B. R-ab, it, rabbit. So they'll be able to put those together. As children get a little bit further up the reading levels, we might see a word like basket. And again, they can cover up the end of the word with their finger. Bas, bas, et, basket, basket. The other thing that children might do is to see words inside words. This one, if we cover up the B and the ending, we can see the word ask. Put the B on, bask, basket. So we're looking for children to use these phonic strategies to be able to sound out words like that are slightly longer. This is an example of a compound word, so 2 words pushed together, and I would get them to cover up the second word, sound out the first word, would, and then do the second part, cutter. Maybe doing cutter in 2 stages, cut, cutter. So I would keep re-emphasising to the child 2 letters, 1 sound. You only need to sound it out once. And every time you see a phoneme that goes together, like the, see if I can find one, the oo or the this can be 2 sounds, the oo or the then you keep re-emphasising that that's 1 button. They go together. So have a go at reading with your child. It's really important as well that that you enjoy the books. They should be about 90% easy for the child, so that the child is getting an enjoyment of reading and they've got some challenging words. If the book is too hard, then maybe you read most of it to the child, but when you get to a phonetic word that they can sound out, or a common tricky word that you know they've seen before, get them to say that word. So get them to engage in the words they can. Another good skill is when you've actually read a sentence and maybe the child has been quite stilted because they've had to sound out a lot, is to go back and reread that sentence. Get the child to reread it. See if they can remember the words. If not, sound them out again, and then you say the sentence at the end. So they're getting the whole flow of the sentence as well. They're getting the enjoyment of the story, but at the same time, if it's been quite stilted for them, they're still able to access what the story means. At the end of a story, the other good thing you can do with children is to develop their inference skills. So this is their understanding of the book. So I would go back and ask them questions. There are two types of questions. There are the recall questions, for instance, in this book, what did she carry in the woods? It was a basket. That was quite clear from the text. There might also be questions about, well, why do you think? What might happen next? How do you know that? Why do you think he was cross? And the child has got to actually use the story to find out, the clues in the story to find out what sort of feelings the characters were feeling. The other thing you could do is talk about the characters in the book, talk about the setting so that they're getting ideas for stories, close the book halfway through and say, what do you think might happen next? So they're getting an idea of prediction, which will hopefully help their own imagination for their own stories. So books are really, really special, and that time with your child is so vital to them developing their writing and their reading skills going forward. I hope that's been helpful, and I'll see you soon. Bye.